So what it is given to you that alpha and beta are roots. So you'll start by saying, since alpha is a root of x square is equal to 7x plus 4, that means you can write, it will satisfy this equation. Therefore, that means alpha square must be equal to 7 alpha plus 4, right? Now we need to prove that alpha cube is equal to so and so. That means we start from the left hand side. LHS is equal to alpha cube. Now see that we have a higher power of alpha here and we have a lower power. That means we want to move from lower power to a higher power. In fact, higher power to a lower power we want to move, right? So what you do here
Yes.
is see that here I have an expression which relates a higher power to a lower power of alpha, isn't it? So we are trying to,
Yes.
we'll be using this expression. So what we'll write this as, we'll write alpha cube as alpha into alpha square. Okay, and now instead of alpha square, let us call this 1. What we'll do is for alpha square, we'll substitute 7 alpha plus 4. This is from 1. Okay, now we are going to multiply this together. So 7 alpha square plus 4 alpha. Okay, and now again you see that you have alpha square here. Again we are going to use 1. So from 1 again, so you know alpha square is 7 alpha plus 4. You get plus 4 alpha. Okay, so now you simplify this, you will get 5 alpha plus 28. Clear? Which is equal to RHS. Is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
find the values of P for which the quadratic equation x square minus px plus p plus 3 equal to 0 has, first is coincident roots. Question is relating to your nature of roots. Okay. Next question is real distinct roots. Third question is one positive and one negative root. Next question is both positive roots. And final question is both negative roots. Okay, now in this question, these 3 questions you will find in your exercise, but the D and E part you will not find. D and E part, those I have added. Okay. So let us start this
Okay.
question. See, the given equation here is x square minus px plus p plus 3. Let us put p plus 3 because it is a constant within brackets. So now first question is coincident roots. Now we'll find out the discriminant first. Okay. So discriminant here is d is equal to b square. B is here is minus p minus 4 into a into c. C is p plus 3. A is 1 coefficient of x square. So this is p square minus 4p minus 12. Okay, so this is the discriminant that you are getting. Okay, so now we come to the first question. Coincident roots means equal roots. Whether you call it equal roots or coincident roots, it's the same thing. So Let us call this 1. If roots of 1 are coincident, d must vanish. That means p square minus 4p minus 12 is equal to 0. Now, of course, this can be factorized. 2 and 6. Okay. So you're getting what are the values of p? P is equal to 6 or minus 2. So for these two values of p, the roots are coincident. Next question was real distinct roots. Now, can you tell me distinct roots? What do you mean by distinct roots? I told you when I was discussing this. Remember distinct roots? Distinct root means unequal roots, real and unequal. Okay. So when are the roots real and unequal? Have you written the rules in your copy?
Yes, sir.
If you have written, then and if you see just beside distinct, I have written unequal. So if the roots are real and distinct, so the condition was if you see that rule d greater than 0, discriminant must be positive. So that means what was the discriminant we found out? We found out this to be p square minus 4p minus 12 greater than 0. That means now we factorize this to be p minus 6 into p plus 2 greater than 0. Recall from what I told you in class 10. You have a product of two factors that are greater than 0, right? That means I can say that p is, if you put p is equal to, this is your a small rule that I mentioned to you in class 10. Okay, now you can understand it in this manner also. Putting p minus 6 is equal to 0, p plus 2 is equal to 0, we get p is equal to 6 and p is equal to minus 2. So which one is the lower number? Minus 2 is the lower number, right? Minus 2 and 6, if you compare, minus 2 is the lower number. That means now if you see it on your real number line, you have minus 2 here, okay, and you have a plus 6 say somewhere over here, and say you have a 0 say over here. Okay, now in this, whenever you have this kind of an inequality sign, then you conclude that p must always be less than, because there's no equality, we'll give this, p must always be less than or equal to less than minus 2, and p must always be greater than 6. Okay, so from these two from this inequality, we conclude that p must be less than minus 2 and p must be greater than 6. Clear with this? Back in class 10 also I told you, but in a little different manner, if you remember. Do you remember this? I told you that when x minus a into x minus b is less than or equal to 0, then x must lie between a and b. Remember? And if x minus a into x minus b is greater than or equal to 0, then, and of course where we take a is less than b, then x must be less than a and x must be greater than b. I told you in this manner, this rule. Okay, and now if you don't remember, then you can do it in this manner, the way I have done. So whenever you see this greater than sign, okay, this is what you will conclude. If you see suppose it was p minus 6 into p plus 2 less than 0, then what would you have concluded? You would have concluded that minus 2, p must lie between minus 2 and 6. Okay, because of this sign. So we'll continue with the next one. see, the third question here was one negative, one positive root. Now, if one root is positive and one root is negative, suppose one root is 2 and the other root is say -4, suppose, then what should be the product of the roots? It should be negative, isn't it? -8, 2 into -4, less than 0. So if one root is negative, one root is positive, then the product of the roots must be negative. If one root is positive and the other negative, therefore product of the roots must be negative. I cannot say some of the roots can be negative or positive, that I cannot say, but definitely I can say product will be negative. Now, what is the product of the roots according to this equation? If you remember, product of the roots I told you is C by A, isn't it? So C term here is
Yes,
P plus 3 and A here is 1. So P plus 3 by 1. C by A is negative. That means P is less than -3. So for all real values of P that are less than -3, you will have one negative and one positive. Okay. Next question was uh, both positive roots. Now, if both roots are positive, then what can be the condition? Can you tell me if both roots are positive? Common sense. In terms of sum and product of the roots.
sir.
Yes, tell me.
Sir, product and sum both will be positive.
Both will be positive. Both have to be positive at the same time. Okay, so there are two conditions here. So sum of the roots has to be positive, and also product of root has to be positive. You had a single condition here, right? But here you must have two conditions. And what is the sum of the roots according to this quadratic? It is minus b by a. This is your b. So minus of minus p by 1, right?
Yes.
And product of the roots is p plus 3, as we have done earlier. So that means you're getting p is greater than 0 and p is less than -3. Now, if p is greater than 0 and if p is less than -3, okay, this has to be positive. Sorry, I've done the wrong sign. Product of the roots also has to be positive, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now, if these two are, if p is greater than 0 and p is greater than -3, you can combine these two conditions, isn't it? You can combine these two conditions to get if p is greater than 0, it has to be greater than -3, isn't it? So you can combine both these conditions to simply write p greater than 0, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So that
Yes,
means for all positive values of p, you will have both roots positive. Okay, so that is what. And the last question, if both roots are negative, then what is the condition?
sir, product will be positive.
Hmm. What about sum? Sum has to be negative also, isn't it?
Yes,
If
sir. Yes.
sum has to be negative and product has to be positive. So let's put it here. Sum of the roots, how much have we got? P only, no? So p is less than 0. And what are the product of the roots that we have got? P plus 3 greater than 0. That means you have p less than 0 and p greater than -3. So if you combine both the conditions, what will you get? What single condition will give you both? Will satisfy both? P greater than -3 and p less than 0. So which single condition will give you both the conditions? P greater than 0, simply, isn't it? If you say p less than 0, if you combine these two conditions, p greater than -3 and p is less than 0. You can try it on the number line. You have p less than 0. That means from here you're going this way, and you have p greater than -3. So you have, say, -3 is somewhere over here. So p is greater than -3 means you have it here, right? So which single condition will say that both the conditions will be satisfied? That means p has to lie between -3 and 0, isn't it? Then that will satisfy both the conditions, right?
Yes, sir.
That's it. So you are taking the area between the region between these two. For any value between -3 and 0, you will have both roots negative. Okay, so this was all about the nature of the roots. Okay, we'll do a next problem here. This time, this problem is based on your last year's class 11 paper, which came from the board. Okay, the problem was given that alpha and beta, this we will not find in your textbook. Given that alpha and beta are the roots of the quadratic equation px square plus qx plus 1 equal to 0, find the value of alpha square beta plus, sorry, alpha square beta square, oh, alpha cube beta square, okay, plus beta plus alpha square beta cube. Now, what kind of a function is this? Can you tell me? Yesterday's video you must have seen, right?
Sir, symmetric function.
Symmetric function. Why symmetric function? Apart from Kushi, anyone can tell me why symmetric function? Because in this, if you interchange alpha and beta, the expression will remain the same. Suppose for alpha, if I write beta, and for beta, I write alpha, and the powers will remain the same. Plus, and this time for beta, for alpha, I write beta, and for beta, I write alpha. Now tell me, is there any difference between these two? There is no difference.
No, sir.
So even when you're
No.
interchanging alpha and beta, there is no difference between the expressions. The expression remains the same. So such functions are called symmetric functions of roots. Okay. Such expressions are called symmetric expressions or symmetric functions of roots. So you will find this kind of a problem here also. The second part which I left for you, Kushi, you can now do this because this is also a symmetric function. Okay. Once I finish this problem, you'll be able to do this one also on your own. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So now see here, you have this as your symmetric function. So let's write the equation first. Px square plus qx plus 1 is given to you. This equation, let us call this 1. Let us calculate the sum of the roots first. Sum of the roots here is, let us say I say alpha beta to be the roots of the equation. Then alpha plus beta I can write as sum of the roots as minus q by p, right? And what is the product of the roots I can write? C by a, isn't it? 1 by p. So once I get alpha beta and alpha plus beta and alpha beta, now we'll start, we want to find out the value of the symmetric function. We have alpha cube beta square plus alpha square beta cube. Now from this you can take the HCF. What is the HCF? Alpha square beta square you can take out. So what are you left with? You're left with alpha plus beta, isn't it? Which can also be written as alpha beta square into alpha plus beta. Now you know these values, right? Alpha beta, you know what is alpha beta? It is 1 by p. What is alpha plus beta? You know, minus q by p. So what is your answer? Clear? So this was a
Yes,
simple
sir.
sum. Next also is picked up from the question paper, last year's class 11 board examination question paper. Question is, you'll not find this question in the textbook. Find the value of p such that the difference of the roots of the equation x square minus px plus 10 equal to 0 is 3. If the roots of the next second part of the question is, if the roots of x square minus px plus 10 equal to 0 are alpha comma beta, find the quadratic equation so this is also from your formation of quadratic equation, okay? Because they are asking you to find the quadratic equation. Find the quadratic equation whose roots are alpha plus beta whole square and alpha square beta minus alpha beta square. Okay, so we start with the first part. Call this equation x square minus px plus 10 equal to 0. Let us call this equation 1. The question is, find the value of p such that the difference of the roots of the equation is this. Okay, now if alpha beta are the roots, what is the sum of the roots? Alpha plus beta? It is p only, right? Minus of minus p, which is p. What is the product of the roots? It is c by a, which is 10. Right? Now here, see the difference of the root. Now, what do you mean by difference of the roots? Can anyone tell me difference? Last year also, when we are discussing circles, I had explained to you the difference, the meaning of difference, what difference means. Can you tell me what difference means? If I say difference between A and B, what does it mean? Two numbers, say A and B. What does the difference mean? A minus B. It means A minus B, right?
Sir, it can be other way around also.
Other way around also. Very good. It can be other way around also. It can be B minus A also. So therefore, what is the
Yes,
difference
sir.
of the roots here? You have to find the value of P such that the difference of the roots is 3. So given here, difference of the, if I say difference between A minus B, I mean A minus B, I also mean B minus A. So therefore, if I combine these two, I can write plus or minus A minus B, right? Isn't
Yes,
it?
sir.
So therefore, I can write plus or minus alpha minus beta. I don't know which way it is. 3 is given, but I don't know if beta, alpha minus beta is 3 or beta minus alpha is 3. So difference of the roots is given to be 3. Now, in order to remove alpha, this plus or minus sign, what I'll do is I'll square both sides. Okay. So alpha minus beta square must be equal to 9. Right. So now what I'll do is, you know this identity, a minus b whole square is equal to a plus b whole square minus 4ab. Remember? At
Yes,
least if you don't know, then please memorize this. Okay. You will require this now. Okay. You have only discussed a plus b whole square and a minus b whole square, maybe. But additionally, what I can tell you is that you will require these identities also. This identity you will require this identity. A plus b whole square is equal to a minus b whole square plus 4ab. You can require this. You will require this. A plus b whole square plus a minus b whole square is equal to twice a square plus b square. Okay. You will require a plus b whole square minus a minus b whole square is equal to 4ab. All these you are going to, various forms of these, all these you are going to require. Okay, all these four. Better you memorize. Okay, write it at the side. If you don't know, Write it at the side, memorize while doing the problems. So let me just tell you that let us continue here. We'll write this as this a minus b whole square. We'll write this as a plus b whole square minus 4ab. Okay. Now we'll simply put the values. What is the value here? Alpha plus beta whole square here is alpha plus beta is p. So we'll put p square minus 4 alpha beta. 4 into 10 is equal to 9. So you get p solve. You get p square is equal to 49. That means you get p is equal to plus or minus 7. That's it. Finishes the first part. We'll do the second part. Find a quadratic equation whose roots are these two. Okay. Now see, it is given to you that alpha and beta are the roots of this equation, right? We have already found alpha plus beta and we have found alpha beta, right? Now, you have to find the equation whose roots are alpha plus beta whole square and alpha square beta minus alpha beta square. So tell me what was the, for the second part, how when roots are given, how do you form a quadratic equation? X square minus sum of the roots x plus product of the roots, isn't it? That is what I told you.
Yes.
Product of the roots equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation. Now, if you have two roots given as alpha plus beta whole square, what is the sum of the roots here? Therefore, sum of the roots is equal to alpha plus beta whole square and plus alpha square beta minus alpha plus alpha square beta minus alpha beta square, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. So now what we'll do here is I will have alpha plus beta whole square. We'll write as it is. Okay, and plus now from here you can take, we express everything in terms of alpha plus beta and alpha beta. So what we'll do is we'll write alpha beta and this will become alpha minus beta, right? This is the sum of the roots, but here again I have alpha minus beta here, right? So what I'll do here is I'll take alpha plus beta whole square plus alpha beta, and from this identity, from this one again, a minus b whole square. What can I write this as? In terms of alpha plus beta, I can write this as root over of alpha plus beta whole square minus 4 alpha beta, isn't it? So now this becomes, put the values now. What is alpha plus beta? P square plus alpha beta here is 10. And then you have root over of p square minus 4 into 10, right? This is what you have, p square
Yes, sir.
plus 10 root p square minus 40. This is what you are getting. Okay. Now you have got the value of p, you can put the value of p here. So plus or minus 7 means p square becomes, let me write plus or minus 7, plus 10 times root plus or minus 7 square minus 40. What do you get? 49 plus 10 times 49 minus 40, root is root 9, which is 3. So how much this will be? 49 plus 30, 79, right? So we've got the sum of the roots. Next, product of the roots. Product of the roots is equal to, first root given to you is alpha plus beta square, and the next root that is given to you is alpha square beta minus alpha beta square, right? We will work very exactly in a similar manner. We'll express everything in terms of alpha plus beta and alpha beta. So first you have alpha beta into alpha minus beta, and this here alpha plus beta, how much have we found? Alpha plus beta we had found to be p, so this is p square. Alpha beta we found to be 10, and this here again we express it as alpha plus beta whole square minus 4 alpha beta. So this is 10 p square, and then again put the value of alpha plus beta, which is p square minus 4 into 10. Okay, so then you get 10 p square root over of p square minus 40. Now put the value of p square, 10 plus or minus 7 square root over of plus or minus 7 square minus 40. So what you ultimately get is 490 into 9, isn't it? 490 into 9. (490) into 9. You get 4,410. Clear? Or no, this is 3, sorry. 490 into 3 it should be.
Yes, sir.
490 into 3. There's a square root there. So 1,440. 1,470. Therefore, what is the required equation? X square minus, what is the sum of the roots you have got? 79. 79 x plus product of the roots. Product of the roots is, and that is the required quadratic equation. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So for today, I'll rest in peace. Okay, I'll stop here.